is.
Where is it from?
That's this French poster art piece. That's it's Monte Carlo Beach, and it's like Adam and Eve on a surf boat.
That's funny.
Amazing. I love it. Okay, let's come stand at the back of your mat. Grounding through your feet. Find that your feet are hip width apart. So just notice your posture from the beginning. Pressing all four corners of your foot down into the mat. And as you root down, grow taller. And feel how as you try to push the top of your head up to the sky, automatically your abs turn on. So just standing up, our abs work. So everything we're doing is just to maintain them so they are working when we're standing and we're not thinking about it. Let's take a nice big inhale up. Exhale everything out. One more time, big inhale up. As you exhale, let's roll over to the toes. Maybe bending the knees a little bit, whatever is most comfortable for your body for first thing in the morning. Let your head hang, run your knees out, take a little stretch right here. Whatever your body needs, and then walk yourself to your plank. Finding a strong plank position, side of shoulders away from the ears. Make sure your shoulders are stacked over your wrists, but you're pressing the floor away. You're lifting your abs up into your spine. Take a breath here. Inhale, exhale, take it to downward dog. Lifting the sits bones high to the sky. You can pedal the knees out. Take that stretch, micro bend the knees, and then straighten the legs. Lift your sits bones a little bit higher, find that length, and then round your spine forward like a wave back into your plank. Take a breath there. Inhale, exhale, taking it back to downward dog. Take that 2 more times. Rolling forward into your plank, finding your strong plank position, and then back to your downward dog. Back to your plank and hold. Finding that strong plank here, and then float the right leg up. We just do little pulses. So waking up the glutes right at the base of the booty and challenging the core, and then lower that foot down, lift the left leg up, little pulses. So tiny movement to start to wake up the body, bring that foot back down, take it back to a downward dog. We're gonna take the right leg up to the sky, bend the knee, open the hip, let the weight of the leg just stretch out your right side. So the goal of this is to lengthen out your right side obliques. And then square the hips, bring that foot down, and let's take the other leg up to the sky, bend the knee, open the hip. Take a breath there, and then we'll square the hips, bring that foot back down, roll back forward into your plank. You're gonna bend your elbows halfway and lower all the way to the mat. Coming all the way down onto your belly here. Folding forearms together. Shake the pelvis out, letting go of any tension in the pelvis. Draw the abs up and in. And then we'll float the right leg up off the mat, squeeze the glute and lower it down. Float the left leg up off the mat and lower. So pelvis stays still. Everything else is relaxed, as in your upper body is relaxed. Your abs are pulling up off of the mat. So when you're laying on your stomach, you get a lot of good feedback here on what's happening with the transverse abdominis. Now we'll float both legs up off the mat. Lift both legs and lower. Draw the abs in, float both legs, squeeze the glutes and lower. Float both legs up and hold. Turn the toes out, heels together, and little tap of the heels together. So firming up the tush, relax the upper body. Draw the abs up and in. We're a little squeeze of the heels together, but really coming from the firming of the booty. Can you lift your thighs a little bit higher for 10? 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Lower the legs, shake the pelvis out, relax everything. Keeping the forehead attached to the forearms, keeping the feet down on the ground to start. Draw the abs in and lift your upper body an inch or 2 up off the mat. Lift your elbows a little bit higher. Lift your chest a touch higher, draw the abs in, lengthen your body forward, and lower it back down. Inhale, exhale, we'll float the upper body up. And lower it down. One more time, float the upper body up. We're gonna float the thighs up, lifting the legs, lengthen your arms long in front of you, slide the shoulders away from the ears and start to swim. Little swim. Draw the abs up and in, firm the glutes, lengthen your neck, sliding the shoulders away from your ears for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Refold the arms, lower everything down. and shake everything out. Let's bring the hands to the mat, press back, take a quick child's pose here, take a little breath. There, letting your butt go heavy to your heels, lengthening the arms long to the front. And then you'll roll yourself up onto your hands and knees. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your pelvis, rounding your spine into your cat stretch. And then head up, tail up for your cow. And into your cat. And into your cow. And all the way back to neutral, slide the shoulders away from the ears, drawing the belly up and in so deep that you don't let your pelvis move as you extend your right arm and your left leg long. Too close to the wall. And bring that hand and knee back down. Other side, you lengthen. And back to center. So moving opposite arm, opposite leg, while the pelvis stays still. So your cup of coffee is just sitting on your sacrum, and it's not spilling side to side. Lengthen, and center, and lengthen. One more time. Taking right arm, left leg, or wherever you're at, we're gonna even up. And then we'll meet back with the right arm long, left leg long. Round your spine, the knee and the elbow connect into your belly, lengthen the arm and leg, and hold, open the arm and leg out to the side, bring it to center. Round your spine, knee and the elbow connect, extend arm and leg, open them away from the body, bring it back. Round, extend, open out, close it in one more time, round, extend, open, back to center, hold, slide the shoulder over from the earth, firm that glute, and then bring the hand and the knee right back down. Extending the left arm, right leg. Keep your hips square, draw the abs in, and then round your spine, the knee and the elbow connect. Extend, open the arm and leg out to the side, bringing it to center. Rounding, extend while you're in neutral, open away from the body to challenge the stability. Round in, extend. The abs are working like crazy to balance you. One more time. Bring it back to center, hold, draw the abs and the shoulder from the ear from the glute, and then bring it back to center, rounding into your cat stretch and into your cow. And all the way back to center, roll the toes under. We're coming into just a quick hover. Hover the knees an inch up off the mat. Shifting so your shoulders are over your wrists. Press the floor away from you. Make your hands like a little lizard hand. Like the palm doesn't really touch the floor. You press your fingers on, you press the hand down. Draw your abs up and in. Send the sits bones so they're just shooting backwards. Your abs are so tight for 3, 2, and last one. Knees down, come all the way to sit. Grab your band or your ring or whatever you have. And we'll sit up tall. Reaching the arms out long, so the shoulder blades away from the ears. Lift up out of your pelvis. Feel your sits bones press down into the mat. Draw the abs in a little bit deeper and roll halfway back. Halfway. And then come up to sit. Inhale, exhale, halfway back. Tucking your tailbone underneath you. And up to sit. Roll back halfway, hold it. Can you relax your legs so the quads aren't doing all the work? Draw the abs in. And then little press out of the band, press out. So we wake up the muscles in our lats and our mid to lower traps because our whole body is working together for 3, 2, hold it, take it back an inch, take it back an inch, take it back one more inch, hold, come up a tiny inch, up a tiny inch, up a tiny inch, hold. Take it back, 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 hold, take it, lift, lift, and hold, lift up out of your pelvic floor one more time, take it back, back. Hold, 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 take it up, 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 and then dive over to the toes, take a stretch. Let's, one more time here, slide the shoulder blades away from the ear, sit up tall. Roll the shoulder blades down, lengthen the neck, roll back halfway, sliding your tailbone underneath you. Holding here, lift out of your pelvic floor. Notice where the feet are. They're not gonna move. The pelvis is very still. Rotate the rib cage over to the right. The arms go along for the ride. It's the rib cage rotating, not the arms moving. And bring it back to center. You're giving tension into the band. Legs didn't shift and twist over to left. Twisting the rib cage and bring it back to center. Again, twist. Maybe this time you can twist a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, and back to center. And twist a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, and back to center, and roll all the way down to the mat. Inhale, take a long stretch here. Exhale, let's peel vertebra by vertebra by vertebra, up, 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 diving, reaching, diving up, up, up and over to the toes and hook it onto your right foot. Let's get into our stretch real quick. Keeping the left leg long on the mat, roll all the way down, taking the right leg to the sky, and we'll melt into it here. So allowing your pelvis to just settle into the mat. Maybe the leg isn't coming very far to start, and maybe it's got a little bend. And then you start to bend and straighten to get a little more length to wake up the hamstring. Breathe into it. Keeping the leg straight. Let's start to reach the right sits bone forward as the leg comes back a little further. Keeping the pelvis still, coming back a little bit further. Shoulders are relaxed. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And we'll release that, hooking it to the toes. And we'll come into our calf stretch. Toes pull down, heel pushes up. And point and flex. The sheep are making a lot of noise outside. So if you guys hear that, it's the sheep. They're having a conversation. And then we'll hold the toes down, heel up. And back to the center of the foot. And spiral the thigh open and out to the side and take an inner thigh stretch. Anchor your left hip down into the mat. And breathe. Reaching out of that inner thigh. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And we'll sweep that leg up to the sky. And the leg come a little bit across the body, stretching through the side of the hip, pushing the right hip away, but keeping everything else square. So the leg is just coming a little bit across the stretch. Shoulders relax. Let's take 1 more breath here. And we'll take it to a spinal twist. Let the leg come across the body, looking in the opposite direction. And extend the right leg long on the mat. Feels so good. Let's roll up and over to your toes. Good. Hold of the left foot. And roll all the way down. Taking that leg up to the sky, easing into that stretch. So maybe it starts with some bending and straightening. And breathe into it, letting it just relax. So then it won't be gripping while you're doing all your ab work. Try to make it a little bit straighter, come back a little bit further. Shoulders relax. And we'll release that. Bring it to the toes for your calf stretch. Releasing it from the hamstring stretch. Pull the toes down, push the heel up. And then you can point and flex. And hold the toes down into that stretch. 1 more breath here. And then back to the center of the foot, spiraling the thigh open and out to the side for your inner thigh stretch. Keep anchoring your right hip down, lengthen out of your left inner thigh. Just a couple of breaths here. Can you find a little more length? And we'll scoot that leg back up to the sky, letting it come a little bit across the body to stretch to the side of the hip. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Keep pushing the left hip away from you and down into the mat. And on your next exhale, we'll mount into a spinal twist with the leg come across the body. And extend that leg all the way long on the mat. Sweep the legs out, they're long and glutes, bend the knees, bring the feet to the mat. Notice where your pelvis is, and then just take a couple times to arch an imprint and settle your pelvis into your neutral position, allowing your hip bones to come in line with your hip bone. Make sure you're having a little bit of space in your lumbar, soften the back bottom ribs down to the mat, and the front ribs soften down in towards the abs. Shoulders relax, collarbone is wide, bring the right leg into tabletop. Feel how your abs are controlling that. Lift up out of your pelvic floor, and we'll float the left leg up to meet it. Nice long neck, no tension in the upper body as you begin marching the right toes to the front edge of the mat and float it up and left. Alternating sides. One leg goes, it comes right up, and then the other leg. Tap out and lift. Shoulders relax, pulling the abs in towards the spine, but keeping your little bit of space in your low back. So just warming up the transverse abdominis from this angle. Notice, is your upper body getting tense? If I take my leg too far and I'm not focused enough on my abs, my shoulders start to tense up to counterbalance the legs going forward, where the upper body should be able to just be chilled as the leg is hinging forward and lift from your abs. Hinge forward and lift. 1 more each way. We're gonna float the hands and inch up off the mat, lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Same thing with the legs, but we're gonna take a little faster. We're gonna go switch and switch. So they're gonna bypass each other. So little taps here to add a little speed, to add a little more challenge for 5. Breathe. 2. And last 1. Both legs back up, hug it all the way in, and then legs to table. Reach your hands to the sky, collarbone is wide. We're going to extend the right arm backwards, left leg forward while the head is still on the mat, and then bring it to center. Other side, lengthen and back to center. Reach, soften the ribs down into the body. Give the back of your skull a little bit of a press into the mat. So you make the muscles in your back body aware that they're also contributing to the stability. And then if you would like, you can lift your head, neck, and shoulders and do the same thing. But if it feels like you're getting a different challenge, or if it feels good with the head down, feel free to stay there. Sometimes if the neck is just having too much tension, the abs aren't going to be able to really focus because you're going to be like, oh, my neck is killing. So in that case, just keep your head on the mat. Then your abs can really be the star. We're going to do 2 more each way. Breathe, lengthen. Last one each way. Bring everything back to center, hug it all the way in, relax, head rock side to side. And legs come back to tabletop. Collarbone is wide on the mat. Squeeze the thighs together. You're gonna point the toes to drop your legs halfway forward. Lift up out of your low abs, and then float the legs back up. So hinge the legs forward, really engage through your pelvic floor. You're gonna feel your low belly tighten and float the legs back up. So they get a little moment of suspension out there. You let them go, hold for a moment, squeeze the pelvic floor to float the legs back up. Take them a little bit forward, hold, and then drag the legs back up. If you would like, you can go a little bit further, and maybe you're gonna lift your head. Maybe the hands come in and jump off the mat, the head, neck, shoulders comes up, and maybe the legs go even a little bit further then. So if it feels better with your head on the mat, keep your head on the mat. It doesn't have to be up. So what is your best challenge today? Let's do 2 more. Lift out your pelvic floor to float the legs back up 1 more time. And drag legs all the way up and hug it all the way in. And relax the head rock. And we'll bring the legs, actually bring the legs back up, but then just give them a little stir in the hip sockets. And then reverse it. And then legs come back to table. Reach the hands to the sky. Float the head, neck, shoulders up as you press your hands to push your legs away at a high diagonal, and then draw the legs in and down. Inhale, exhale, lift the head, neck, shoulders, press the legs away, and drag it back in. Inhale, exhale. This one, let's keep it up. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders, hold, glue the heels from the toes apart, and pump the arms to hundreds. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, and exhale. Keep lifting up out of your pelvic floor. Legs stay where it's best for you. Maybe they're in tabletop. Maybe they're low to the ground. Maybe they're high to the sky. Where do you feel like your abs are most engaged? Inhale, and exhale. One more set. Inhale, and exhale. We'll drag legs back up. Hug the knees all the way in and relax. Let your head rock. Shoulders relax, get out any movement you need to, and then bring the feet down to the floor, hands alongside the body, firming the feet down into the mat, tuck your pelvis and roll your hips up to the sky for a bridge. Make sure there's nothing underneath your neck here. Eyes to the sky, you just lift your hips up, squeeze the glutes, and sequentially roll your spine all the way back down. Inhaling at the bottom, exhale, rolling all the way up. Lift, squeeze, and roll all the way back down. Let's take 3 more like that. Vertebra by vertebra as you lift your hips up, squeeze the glutes, hug the thighs slightly towards each other, sequentially rolling down. 2, peeling all the way up, push the knees forward, hips to the sky, glutes engaged, and all the way down. Rolling all the way up, sequentially all the way down, plant the tailbone down into the mat, reach the hands to the sky, and roll yourself up onto your sits bones with your feet still on the mat. Rolling up onto your sits bones to sit, and rolling it all the way down. We'll do that again, keeping the feet planted down in the bent knee position, and peel yourself all the way up. A little bit different with the knees bent. And all the way down. And we'll roll up and stay up on this one, roll all the way up. We're gonna roll back halfway, and then reaching the right hand up to the sky, and bring it back to center. Reach the left hand up to the sky, and bring it back to center. So alternating arms. If you need to, you could always grab behind your thigh with the arm that's not lifting. If it's not feeling super stable, let's do 3 more like that. Slide the shoulders away from the ears. Pulling your abs in, maybe you take it back a little bit further. And bring it all the way back to center. Take it back an inch, take it back an inch, take it back, and roll all the way down to the mat, arms back down into the mat. Roll the hips all the way up to the sky, back up into your bridge, collarbone is wide. This time with a neutral spine, tap your bum down, press up, squeeze. Tap down, up, squeeze. Lower and lift. Down, up, and hold. So when you get to the top, you hold and squeeze. You're hugging that imaginary ball between your thighs. Squeeze. Collarbone is wide. Lower up and lift. And then hold this one up and tiny pulses up, press up. Hugging the thighs slightly towards each other, little lifts. For 5. Hold it up, lift the heels. Maybe you want to walk your feet in a little bit wherever you feel best. Tap your butt down, press up, squeeze. Just keep the legs hip width apart. Almost touch the mat and then lift. Getting that hold at the top. Make sure there's no tension in the upper body. And lift and hold. And tiny pulses up, press up, 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 squeeze, up, squeeze. So you're already at your highest point, and then you lift a little bit higher for 5. Last one, drop your heels, walk the feet to the edges of the mat. They go out wide to the sides. And then you lift your toes to the sky, digging your heels down. Lift your hips a little bit higher. Recommit to staying in that neutral. So you might need to tuck your pelvis slightly, and then lower the hips, press up, squeeze and hold. Tap down, up, and squeeze. Lower, lift, squeeze. And then as we lift up, we're gonna tap the thighs together, open, and then lower the hips. You press up, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the knees together, open, down, press up, squeeze the thighs in, and lower. Press up, the knees go in, they open, they lower. Press up, in, open, lower. Press up, squeeze in. This one, just keep it up, squeeze in and open and in and open. So the hips stay up, you're just pressing the thighs together and open for 5. Keep the hips high. And the next one, keep the thighs open and pulse the hips to the sky. Press up high, up high, up high. Make sure it's not going into your low back. Tuck your pelvis slightly. If it is, that'll probably just put you into neutral for 5. Last one, drop the feet, walk the feet back to hip width apart. Commit to the hips staying up. Maybe they come up a little bit higher. Really ground your feet down. Push the hips a little bit higher. Ground your feet down. Lift the hips a little bit higher. Find that lightness in your arch. And now march the right leg in tabletop. Place it back down on the mat. Very gently onto the mat. Left leg to tabletop. Very gently down to the mat. So pelvis stays still, alternating sides. Barely can hear your foot move. One more like that each way. Keeping the pelvis still. Go back to the right leg in table. Commit to the hips being up. Really press down through that left foot. Just extend the right leg out. Straight to the front edge of the room and bring it in. The leg goes out and in. You just press out, lengthen away from the body. Keeping the hips still. Keep the leg extended out right there, and then just a little lift of the hips, lift up, up. Feel that left glute and hamstring for 4. Last one, place the foot back down on the mat, commit to the hips being up, reestablish your neutral, and then bring the left leg in table. Push the right hip up a little bit higher, square the hips, extend the left leg long and in. It just reaches to the front wall and in. Collarbone is wide, the neck is long. The right glute and hamstring is doing a lot of work. The abs are helping to support. And then hold the leg out long and small press up, up, up. Keeping the hips even for 5. Last one, place that foot back down on the mat. Keep the hips high. Push the hips up a little bit higher. And then little pulses of the hips to the sky for 10. Press up, up. Pull your abs in for 5. Last one, sequentially rolling your spine down. Vertebra by vertebra by vertebra, all the way down until your sacrum meets the mat. And then get your knees a little up. You can rock your low back into the mat. And then placing your right ankle over your left knee, thread your hands behind the left thigh. Take a little figure 4 stretch to stretch out the glute here. Pushing the right elbow into the thigh. Let your butt be a little heavier as you pull the leg a little bit closer towards you. The left leg, that is, and then pushing your right thigh away. And then we'll switch sides. And we'll release that. Let the legs go long in the mat. Shake them out. And then hands up to the sky. Inhale, exhale to peel yourself 1 inch up off the mat so the head, back, and shoulders lift. We'll pump a little bit higher, and a little bit higher, and a little bit higher, and then reaching up and over to your toes. Take a little stretch forward. And all the way up onto the sit bones. Let's come into rolling like a ball. We'll glue the heels, turn the toes apart. Fingertip touch to your ankles. Lift the heels up, shift your weight just back from your sits bones. So even just balancing here is all abs. Then tuck your chin and roll to your shoulder blades and come up, balancing on the sits bones. Roll and come up and balance. So you've got that half a pizza with slice in between your feet. 3, 2, just to your shoulder blades. The next one, you stay all the way at the top, hold it here, legs to table, grab behind your thighs, lift yourself up, roll your shoulder blades down, kick your legs up to the sky, tap your toes to the front edge of the mat. Kick the legs up, tap down, and then if you decide to, take your hands off the back of your thighs. Keep lifting up out of your pelvis. Can your spine get longer for 3, 2, last one, lift and hold, 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 hold. Bring it to table, roll yourself down, vertebra by vertebra by vertebra, till your shoulder blades touch, extend your left leg long, frame your right knee, single leg stretch. We go switch and switch. So keeping the leg tracking from the hip socket, pulling the abs in deep. You're lifting from your upper abs, not from your jaw, but if you want your head down, put it on the mat, and that's completely fine. For 3, breathe, 2, last one, bring both legs into table, grab behind your thighs, or no hands, roll back up onto your sits bones. Kick the legs up to the sky, tap them over to the right as they bend down. Kick up, tap over to the left. Kick up, tap to the right. How still can the rest of your body stay, even as you're taking the legs side to side? We're gonna do one more each way, and then come into double leg stretch. Bring the legs up, then back to table, sequentially placing your spine back down into the mat until your shoulder blades touch the mat, and then extend the arms and legs long away from the body at high diagonal. The arms circle around, draw the knees back into tabletop. The legs stay together as you extend the arms and legs long, circle to center. Legs are super glued together like a mermaid tail, a merman tail. Draw the abs in. 4 more like that. 3. With control, the upper body stays exactly the same the whole time. Last one, lengthen, circle, bring it in, and relax everything to the mat, and let your head rock side to side. And then we'll bring the legs back to table, coming into single straight leg stretch. Turn the legs up to the sky. Anchor your pelvis into the mat. You're in your neutral. Take the hands to the sky as you float the head back and shoulders up. Extend your left leg long, fingertip touch behind the right thigh. Little double pull into the leg. Scissor pull pull. Scissor pull pull. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So it's an inhale when the leg is up. It's an exhale as the legs brush past each other. Little double pull, and then if you decide, reach the hands forward. If you feel like you need a different challenge, maybe they want to stay behind the leg, maybe they don't. But you got 2 more like this, and then we have our challenge. Last one. Keep the right leg up on this next one. Grab behind your thigh, walk yourself up the back of your leg. All the way up to the sky. Left leg can either stay right there, or it can go to the mat. Walk yourself down the back of your leg. I don't know about you guys, but 2 weeks of no Pilates is killing me. Roll all the way up and roll all the way down. Hands or no hands, come all the way up. And then left hand catches the back of that right ankle, sweeping the right hand back, look to your fingertips and tap the hand back to the leg. Twist the rib cage around and bring it to center. One more time, twist, bring it to center, switch legs. Whew. Should take a break? Absolutely not. Let's keep going, friends. Let's walk all the way down the leg and then all the way back up the leg. All the way down the leg, like you're climbing a tree, climb all the way back up. All the way down. Maybe you have your hands, maybe you take your hands off and just use those abs to roll all the way up, catching the right hand to the outside of the left ankle, and then sweep your hand to the back, look to your fingertips and back to center. So just your rib cage is turning and center. One more time, just the rib cage turn, bring it back to center, both legs up. Release the legs from the hands and roll yourself down all the way to the mat, and then hug it all the way and relax. Rock side to side. And circle your legs around together to stir around. And then reverse. Remove any tension there. So we can be super strong coming into double straight leg lower. Let's come back to center, bring your feet to the mat just to reestablish our neutral pelvis. And then legs to table one at a time. Hands to the sky. I'm sorry, bring your hands behind your head. I completely said that wrong. Elbows are wide. Keep the collarbone so wide. Extend the legs to the sky as you lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Glue the heels, turn the toes apart slightly, or you can do it in parallel. And then let your legs lengthen away from your body and hold. Pelvic floor floats the legs back up from those low abs as your pelvis gets heavier as the legs lift. Lengthen the legs away from you. Squeeze your inner thighs, draw your abs in as you lift the thighs back up. So pelvis is still. Your head can be on the mat and the arms will be alongside the body in that case. 3 more here. Lengthen out, you hold. Exhale, drag the legs back up from your strong abs. Lengthen. Floating all the way up. I'm not sure if that was 3, but we're gonna do 1 more. Lengthen, 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 hold, and little tap of the heels, go tap, 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 tap for 5, 4, 3, 2, hold, drag the legs back up, hug it all the way in and relax. Take a breath there. And we'll bring the legs back to table. Hands again behind the head, fingertip touch behind the ears, coming into crisscross, float the head, neck, and shoulders up, extend the left leg long as you twist to bring the left shoulder in the direction of the right knee. And return to center, twist the other side, twist and center. We go twist and center, twist. So think about rotating the rib cage around. Pelvis is still, rib cage can move. Exhale. Bottom rib to opposite hip, elbows stay wide. We'll take 3 more each way. Twist and center. Twist, remove everything up from the center. 2. And last one each way. Twist and twist and bring it all the way back in and relax. Take a long stretch here. Arms and legs lengthen away from the body and just shake everything out. Get long and loose. I have to grab my glass of water that I thought was next to me. One more breath there, and then you're gonna take your hands up to the sky and peel yourself up and over to your toes. All the way up and over. Meeting forward fold. And then let's grab a hold of your weights. If you have them, you don't have to use them. Whatever you want. Sitting up tall. Feel your sits bones pressing down into the mat and grow a little bit longer and taller. Elbows tuck into the sides, palms face the sky. Make sure the wrist is straight, it's not falling down. You want long, strong arm like the wine glass is sitting in the palm of your hand. Roll back halfway, push the weights forward. Sit up tall, draw your elbows into your rib cage. Round your spine as you push your weights forward, draw the abs in, and drag it back in. Lengthen, and drag it in. Roll back halfway and hold it. Hold here. Lengthen those arms long in front of you, draw the abs in, release the quads. So they're not doing the work, your abs are doing everything, and then bend and straighten the elbows. Bend and extend. Lift up out of your pelvic floor. Breathe. Bend, extend. We'll hold both arms all the way out, turn the palms towards each other, just the right arm bends, just the left arm bends. So we have that movement that's unbalanced by doing the single bicep curl. So the abs have to work to balance you. One more like that each way. Bend, extend, hold both arms out, turn the palms down, and little tap of the weights. Tap. Lift up out of your pelvic floor for 5. Last one, roll yourself down to the mat. Take a long stretch, reaching the arms long behind you. So if that feels good with the weights, to get that little extra opening by the weight of the weights pulling you back. And then we'll reach the hands back up to the sky, the palms turn towards each other, roll up to your halfway point as we just hug around that tree. You hinge your arms open and hug around the tree. Inhale and exhale. So your elbows are a little higher than your wrists and your elbows are lower than your shoulders. So it's descending from the shoulder to the wrist for 3. Breathe. Last one. Let's take the arms all the way out wide. Flip the palms up, or flip the palms back, pinkies to sky, and little lifts. Lift, lift. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold, dive your body forward, push your hands back. Palms are now facing each other. Long spine as you press the weights in. Go press in. Can the arms go a little bit higher? Hold it in and push them up to the sky, up, up. So the spine is long. Imagine you're getting a piece of elastic pulled from your tailbone out to the top of your head. Abs are in tight. 3, 2, last one. Send the arms forward and then place the weights down. Take a quick little stretch across the body and we'll come into our side work and then other side. And we'll lay down on the left side. All the way long here. Let your head go all the way down onto your arm to start. Your body is super long and straight on your balance beam. If you need to, you could bring your legs a little bit forward. But for this one, staying as straight as possible, but thinking about what your body needs. You can have a kickstand hand if you need it. We'll take the top leg, point the toes, lift the top leg up in line with the hip, lift the bottom leg to meet it, and they both go down together. We go lift, lift, lower, up, up, and down. So we're gonna start to take that into your range of motion. If you wanna lift it a little bit higher, feel free. Where is it best for your body? 3 more. 2. Last one. Now both go down together, they both lift together. They go lower and lift. Drawing the abs in, can that bottom waistline stay pulling up off of the mat? Abs staying, pulling in. Hold this one up, point the toes, and we scissor the legs. We go switch and switch. Last one. And bring it back to center. Lower the legs down. Come a little bit forward with the legs. Head can stay down, or you can prop it up, your choice. Lift the top leg, spiral the thigh open. Extend the leg to the sky. Flex to pull it down. Lift and point, flex, and drag it down like it's going in slow motion. Lift, slow motion down. Lift and slow motion. Take the leg up to the sky. Hold, spiraling the thigh open and draw little circles. Turn inside of the hip socket and reverse. And hold it there. Flex the foot as the leg comes forward in line with the hip. It stays at hip level and then it sweeps back up to the sky. It comes forward and then it sweeps back up to the sky. Reach. And then it drags back up. Hold this one forward. Micro bend the knee and little press. Bend straight in. Bend straight in. Tiny press. Feel it right in the back of the thigh, in the booty for 5. Last one, just sweep the leg to meet the bottom leg. Bend both knees for your clamshell, heels together and in line with your tailbone as you open the top knee and close. Open, squeeze, and close. Think about the alignment of the pelvis, pushing the top hip away from you. So you're staying long on both the bottom and the top side. We're not letting the top hip go to the rib. Lift. And then hold that thigh up and tiny pulses up. Little tiny lift up for 5. And we add our rotation. We go knee to knee, toe to ankle. Knee to knee, toe to ankle. It's amazing how I can notice on my body when I'm not doing this, how I don't have the range of motion, how it is so important to maintain doing it, keeping your body moving so you can always keep it. Keep the knee down, turn the toe up and tiny pulse to the sky, press up, up. Up. It's because I can't turn mute on my computer, I don't think. Hold. And then lower everything back down, pull the knees forward to 90 degrees, flex to the feet, push the top hip away, and then sweep the leg up and close. If I had mute on the computer, would you guys be able to hear me still? Okay, we're not sure. Thanks, Colleen.
We'd be able to hear you, but you wouldn't be able to hear us.
Ah, okay. And then come down
Not
after in little circles. Because you could hear when someone just called.
Yeah, but if you put it on do not disturb, then it should silence anything like that.
Okay. And then reverse. How come after all these years I'm still not tech savvy? Oh, here we are. And then lower that leg all the way down. Punch the booty out. Prop yourself up. And let's come into into our pretzel actually. So prop yourself all the way up. And then shift your right leg back. And the left leg is forward. You frame your hands one on either side of the left knee. Leaning a little bit forward. And then flex that back foot. The knee is really open. You want to open the hip. That's kind of the key here. And then lift the thigh and lower and lift. It's my friend that also got the J&J vaccine the other day. And she keeps like texting and calling. That's why. So she just heard the news too. And we lift and we lift. Lift, hold, lift a little bit higher, lift the knee a little bit higher, and then little kicks. Kick, kick, kick. Little kick back for 5. And last one, sweep the leg all the way around, and now you're magically on your right side. Laying all the way down straight. On that balance beam, drawing the abs in, point the toes as you lift the top leg up in line with the hip to start. Lift the bottom leg up to meet it, and they both go down. We go lift, lift, lower. Lift, lift, and lower. Up, up, and down. Maybe you start to bring it a little bit higher, but where are you able to stay most balanced? And still lifting that bottom waist and up off the mat. On the next one, they stay up, both legs go down, both legs go up. They lower, lift, hold. Feeling that waistline, lift the thighs up. Lift. For 3 more. Lift and hold, point the toes, and we scissor, scissor. One more. Bring it all the way back to center. Maybe the legs come a touch forward and they lower all the way to the mat. Spiral the top leg up to the sky as you lift your leg. Flex to pull it down in slow motion. We lift. Slow motion, it draws down. And lift. And drag for 3, 2. Last one, lift and hold, spiral the thigh open, and little stirs the sky. Keeping the pelvis still as that circle happens inside the hip socket, and then reverse. And then hold it, flex the foot, the leg come down in line with the hip, and then it sweeps back up to the sky. Forward, and lift it back up to the sky. So you want to think about keeping your hip pushing back as the leg just is straight up and down. The next one, when it comes down, we hold, and then tiny little bend straight in, bend straight in. For 5. And last one, so it all the way back to the bottom leg, bend both knees, heels in line with your tailbone, push the top hip away, lift the top leg for your clamshell and lower. Lift, squeeze, and down. Oh, it's because my friend, when we were texting about it, and I was like, I feel sick. And then she hasn't heard from me again, so I think she's probably, I meant like I feel sick from reading the information. And so now she's probably like stressing. And then hold this one up and tiny squeezes, lift, up, up, hold. Is your top, is your hip moving away from your bottom rib? And then at our rotation, we go knee to knee, toe to ankle, knee to knee, toe to ankle. Tap and tap, getting all the rotation and lubrication inside the hip socket. And then we'll keep the knee down, turn the toe up, and then we'll pulse up. Neil, we can't see you, but I'm just wondering how your hip is doing in these exercises. I hope everything's okay. And then we'll bring that leg all the way down, bring the knees to 90 degrees, flex of the feet, push the top hip away, and lift the top leg and lower. It doesn't actually touch down. Lift and lower. It's almost down. Almost down. And then hold it down and draw your little circles. Keep flexing that foot, keep your pelvis still, rotation happening inside the hip socket, and reverse. Drawing the abs in and lowering it all the way back down. You can punch your booty out. You're ready to be tight in this there. Cup yourself all the way up for your pretzel. Framing the right knee now, sternum in line with the knee, hand on either side. Bring the left leg back as far as you can, kind of like a pinwheel here. Flex that bottom foot, and then we lift. Lift and lift. Lift. So think the knee lifting. Can the knee go a little higher? Collarbone wide, square to the knee for 4. Last one, hold it up and low, kick that kick, kick, kick. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, and bring the leg all the way around and all the way up. Take the feet together, knees out to the side. Just take a little stretch here. A little lean forward if it's available. We're gonna set up for our plank in a moment. If you're ready, Neil.
I am.
Awesome. I love that Neil is like a superhero. He's like a car hit and he's not gonna do anything. I'm just fine, I'll keep moving forward. Okay, let's come all the way into our plank position. So on your hands or forearms, whatever you need. And think about the abs. It's really supporting you, the whole body working to keep you up in this position, and you're gonna feel light here. So just think about lightness when you're in this position. Okay, let's get ready. Let's come up into our plank of choice, abs in and knees on.
At one point in my job quest, I was introduced to Valerie Jarrett, another daughter of the South Side who was smart enough to land a job at a white shoe law firm and aware enough to get out. Valerie would alter my life not once, but many times. Valerie first worked for Harold Washington, the first African-American to be elected Chicago mayor. My parents loved Harold for how he could pepper a folksy speech with Shakespeare and the vigor with which he ate fried chicken. Most important, he was willing to take on the Democratic machine that awarded fat contracts to white donors and rarely allowed blacks to get ahead. Running on a platform of reform, Washington won the 1983 election by a hair. He was a black, brainy superhero and an inspiration to Barack, who arrived in Chicago in 1985 to work as an organizer. 3, 2, 1.
Downward dog. And take a breath there, taking whatever last movement you need. Maybe pedal the knees out, lifting those sits bones high to the sky. Breathe. Micro bend the knees, and then lift the sits bones a little bit higher, straighten the legs out, draw those abs in. Let the neck just kind of lengthen, and then start to take a tiny little step forward with each foot, marching a little bit forward, slow, till your hands come all the way forward to your hands, and just hang out in your forward fold. Feet are hip width apart. You've got a great view of them right now. See where that is, and let everything go. You can sway side to side, micro bend the knees, whatever your body's asking for. The arms just hang, and then bringing it to center with that soft bend of the knee. Start to engage the abs, to lift yourself, to restack your spine, head being the last thing that lifts. All the way up, slow to spinning up. Nice and tall, slide the shoulder blades away from the ears. And let's take a nice big inhale up. Exhale everything out. One more time. Big exhale, and merci beaucoup, Pilates Hotties. Thank you for coming to class today.